Ayy, look, yeah, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
The Dallas Cowboys. As we all know, the Dallas Cowboys made a couple moves this past off in this most recent offseason, acquiring guys like Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks to help out their defense and their offense in the receiving room. Also re-signed a lot of their key guys. And so I guess my question to you guys is, can the Dallas Cowboys win the NFC?
No. I just feel like when you just look at it from the offensive perspective, I'm just way more confident in what the Eagles can put out offensively. When you look at their wide receiver core, their wide receiver options. When you go Devontae Smith, you have Quez Watkins, you have AJ Brown, and then of course you have Dallas Goedert. In the backfield, you have Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift, and then you have Jalen Hurts, and you have an absolute elite unit of offensive line. I'm way more confident in that team and what they can produce, and I feel like Jalen Hurts as just a player overall is a lot better than Dak Prescott. And I'm not particularly confident in Dak Prescott's ability to elevate this offense. I feel like, yes, he can have his moments, like exactly a couple of seasons ago where he started off the season red hot, but then he cooled off as the season went on. I'm just not confident in his ability to elevate this offense. I just feel like the Eagles right now, when we look at the NFC rankings, it's like the Eagles and the Niners stand above everybody else. Like everybody else is in discussion after them. And I just don't see a reason why the Dallas Cowboys can win the NFC this season. So,
yeah, I ain't trusting Dak Prescott. I don't see the Cowboys winning the NFC East at all. For me, just plain and simple, man. The guy doesn't perform when it comes to it. I feel like against the Eagles, a much better team offensively, defensively, much better consistent team, and a much better quarterback to me on that opposite side of the field. I just don't see the Cowboys being a better team than them. So for me, it's not, hey, Cowboys are not the best in the division. I just had the Eagles being better in the division. That's it.
I think we're really underplaying and underestimating what the Dallas Cowboys got coming into this season. And I'm not going to sit here. I mean, although it does sound like I'm like the biggest Dallas Cowboys fan, as we all know, I'm not. I think we gotta at least be a little more optimistic about them coming into this upcoming season. I think them, for number one, acquiring Stephon Gilmore. Now, not only does that help out their defense a lot, they have created one of the best duos, cornerback duos in the NFL. So that's number one. Number two, they got Brandon Cooks. And a lot of people like to downplay this one. Like Brandon Cooks is some sort of bum. This guy has 6 seasons over 1,000 yards. Doesn't sound like much, but it's consistency at its finest. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys have needed alongside their number one guy, CeeDee Lamb. Their defense, I could talk about it. Their defense all episode. These guys have one of the best defenses in the league. Either it's top 1, top 2, top 3 finishes in these last 1 or 2 years, I would say. And so I have no questions about that. Dan Quinn is coming back for this upcoming season as well. So I don't think their defense will skip a beat. Their offense, though, like I said earlier, their offense only goes as far as Dak Prescott goes. And I think it's not about him, going out there and producing numbers at a high level and producing at a high level. I think it goes out there. It's really just about him staying healthy for this Dallas Cowboys team. Because when he's out there, they have one of the best offenses in the league, and the stats prove it. In 2019 and 2021, when Dak Prescott was healthy, those guys had one of the best offenses in the league. 2020, he gets hurt. Obviously, they're not going to do well. In 2022, he missed 5 games of the season, and pretty much Cooper Rush wasn't able to kind of lead them to have a top offense in the NFC and in the NFL. And so I think a lot of us, I think we're right now, we're pretty much underestimating this Dallas Cowboys team, and they pretty much kind of fixed up what they needed to fix up. They're one of the few teams that went out and got a wide receiver 2 to complement their wide receiver 1. Dak Prescott, hopefully, stays healthy. They moved on from Ezekiel Elliott. They have Tony Pollard in their backfield. They signed him onto that franchise tag. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the Dallas Cowboys do win the NFC. And I think if I had to make a bold and hot take, I would honestly say that I can see the Dallas Cowboys winning the NFC, beating out those 2 other teams, whether it's the Niners or the Philadelphia Eagles, a division rival, in order for them to get to the Super Bowl. I think this might be the year for the Dallas Cowboys that they kind of just get over the hump. But you guys are kind of just taking everything that's happened over the last 10, 15 years in Dallas Cowboys history and kind of just rolling it all up into one and kind of just throwing it all on the table right now and just pretty much doubting them to win the NFC. And
No,
I
I
think,
mean, like it's just like the faith in the quarterback position and the fact that I believe in the completeness of the Eagles roster than I do more than the Cowboys. I mean, when you look at the Eagles roster, where is there the holes in that team? Like, is there a single hole when you look at that Eagles team? We've talked about it dating back to last season. Jalen Hurts is in the best situation because this team front to back is just absolutely amazing and on every single level. So I'm just like, I look at it. They did it last season. They're the best team in the NFC. I don't see a reason why a team can catch up to them in the NFC outside of the Niners. I just don't believe the Cowboys have that level of quarterback play. I mean, Jalen Hurts provided MVP level of quarterback play. Is Dak Prescott going to offer that to the Dallas Cowboys? Absolutely, hell no, he's not going to do that. So I'm way more confident in what Jalen Hurts is going to put out for the offense than I do with Dak Prescott. And it's not even just a bias. I just don't believe Dak Prescott is going to produce at a level to give the Cowboys that edge in the NFC.
but I mean, you mentioned quarterback though. Don't the Niners have a quarterback issue?
I mean,
So confident in them.
I mean, the Niners have one of the best head coaches in the entire NFL, in Kyle Shanahan, and that defense is just absolutely ridiculous. And you know, their rushing game, and they have wide receiver threats, and it's a Kyle Shanahan system. You can plug any player into that system, and they're going to produce. And that's why I'm so confident in that team compared to like the Cowboys. I feel like the consistency of the Niners when it comes to the defense, and then of course that rushing attack and the Kyle Shanahan system, I feel way more confident about them than I do the Cowboys.
I mean, I'm looking at Dak Prescott's numbers aside from last year where he missed 5 games. In 2021, he finished off the season 4,400 yards, 37 passing touchdowns, and 10 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 104. I don't think it's too bad for a guy that, I guess, you know, the choke artist, or I guess whatever you guys like to describe him as. But 2020, he got injured. 2019, 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. I'm telling you, it's not as bad as people make it out to be when it comes to Dak Prescott. Maybe I understand in the postseason, the track record isn't the nicest. It hasn't been since, you know, he got that win against Seattle. Pretty much the thing. I'm not too sure if it was his first postseason run, but maybe his second. I want to say. After that, it's been a downhill sledding for him. But I mean, the Dallas Cowboys. You said that the Philadelphia Eagles don't have any holes. What holes do the Dallas Cowboys have?
Their quarterback. That's the hole. I don't believe, and I don't believe that the Dallas Cowboys defense is as good as the Eagles defense. Quote me on that. I don't believe that defense is as good as them. I believe that like what's crazy about the Philadelphia Eagles defense is they literally rushed. I think at a below they blitz at a below average rate, and yet somehow they had the second most sacks in NFL history. I mean, that team is just ridiculous, man. Defensively, and then now they picked up Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here?
I mean, I think we got to take into account. I forgot to mention this earlier. I think I said something about the Dallas Cowboys finishing top 2 or top 3 as a defense. In 2021, they were number 1 in turnover ratio. And in 2022, they were top 2 in turnover ratio. So I think the Dallas Cowboys they have a pretty good defense. I wouldn't say. I think they can go toe to toe with the Philadelphia Eagles defensively. I'm not going to go and sit here and outright say that's a landslide.
I don't think they're a top 2 defense. I think
Cowboys got a nice defense, and they added Stephon Gilmore this year.
I think the Eagles and the Niners are a better defense than both of them. That's what I believe.
I don't think so. I'll give you Philly 50-50. They can go toe to toe with Philly. I'm not going to go and sit here and give you the Niners though. I think their secondary clears the Niners secondary.
But even then,
it's not even close. It's not even close.
Then the Niners pass rush has somehow put them in the top every single season.
Eagles had 2 All-Pro corners though. Yeah, like what are you talking about?
This is ridiculous.
We're talking about the Niners and Cowboys here though.
Even it was crazy.
Wait. You say they can't go toe to toe with the Niners defense?
Who? I'm talking. Who can't go toe to toe?
He's saying.
I said I'll give him Philly. I think they can go toe to toe defensively with Philly, but for the Niners, I would take the Dallas Cowboys defense as of right now. With the acquisition of Stephon Gilmore.
I think I'll take the Cowboys defense.
And I said what my reason for that is their secondary clears the Niners secondary. Although their front seven might clear the Niners front seven might clear the Cowboys front seven.
The Niners are better defense as a whole.
I don't think it's that. You're making it seem like it's like some sort of landslide or something, bro. Like
Cowboys. But obviously, Cowboys still one of the best defenses in the league. Even if they're not top 2, 3 it doesn't take much.
They're a top 5 defense at worst. I still believe that Eagles and Niners are better defense. Though. I think the Niners pass rush is just like ridiculous. They have, in my opinion, at this point, right now in the NFL season, they have the best defensive player currently as it stands. They have the best defensive player on the team in the entire league. Let's keep it a stack, man.
Maybe Pittsburgh might argue that.
Yeah,
Argue
Pittsburgh,
against
yeah,
that.
TJ Watt can make an argument, but outside of that, that's about it.
And maybe Dallas might make an
Don't say
argument with
Micah, don't say
Micah Parsons.
No,
Maybe Dallas fans might make an argument for Micah
We're
Parsons.
gonna see Micah though. They're switching his position to full-time DN. You know, he's not gonna be standing outside.
I mean, to be honest,
outside
let's keep it a
linebacker.
stack. Like, let's be honest, he was already a edge rusher. Like this guy, they're gonna say this guy was playing coverage, but
But this time though, he's gonna be 100%. 100%.
Snaps. He probably had 12 snaps dropping.
Nah. I think more. He ended up with like what 2 picks last year.
I swear,
Micah's not a bad.
Micah was in coverage last year. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, he was. And he's not a bad coverage linebacker either.
Funny, I guarantee him and TJ Watt probably have the same rate in coverage in terms of just like dropping back. They probably didn't drop back more than 20 snaps in this season. More than 20. I promise you. I'm gonna look it up after this. I promise you, he didn't drop more than 20.
We need to check that.
We'll go ahead and fact check that.
Micah Parsons drop coverage and snaps.
But I still one of the best defensive players in the league, though. So
ain't no question about that. I'm talking about Nick Bosa, man, the defensive player of the year.
Micah Parsons was in the running for that this past season.
Yeah,
he came up a little bit. He came up a little bit short. So I'm not. You know, it was a close race. It wasn't no unanimous decision. So, you know, obviously, they both have some talent on that side of the ball. But as of right now, with the way their rosters are constructed, although the Niners front seven is amazing, their secondary room is literally bottom tier. I think they have Charvarius Ward as their number one corner, and they lost a couple other pieces.
Niners secondary was horrible last year. I can't lie.
Charvarius Ward is pretty underrated though. He's pretty underrated. He's a pretty solid corner.
You compare Charvarius Ward, their number one is Trayvon Diggs, who had a better second year than he did his first year, giving up all those yards.
I'm looking at it right now. Micah Parsons, his rookie season, he had 540 snaps off ball versus 390 on the line of scrimmage. This year in 2022, he had 170 and then 693 on the line of scrimmage. So that's about a 17% amount of in coverage.
Yeah, next year gonna be 800 on the line, 20 in the secondary. So we're gonna see more sacks from him. I feel like he's gonna be moving around that D-line.
Man. There's no doubt about that.
They finally gonna unleash him. I feel like this is where he's supposed to be. He should never be in coverage whatsoever. Never be in coverage.
Yeah, he spent 90% of his snaps as a linebacker.
It got to be down to like 2%. It can't be 19. It's like an extra 3 or 4 sacks right there.
I think that's an overwork when you put him in coverage. There's no point in doing that, to be honest.
Yeah, you got to utilize his best skill.
I mean, who else is on that line?
DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
Who's on the interior?
They drafted that. They drafted that from Michigan.
Mozzie Smith or something like that.
Yeah, from Michigan.
That's about it.
Let's go ahead and pull up their depth chart right now. Mozzie Smith, Osa. I can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, I mean, it's not many guys that we know. But they said they have Micah Parsons defensively.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I really
Leighton Vander Esch.
The Commanders gonna have a better D line. I actually think the Commanders gonna have a better D line. If you think about it, Montez Sweat and Chase Young's gonna be back, and they have Jonathan Allen. I'm just saying, man. That's
the thing is the Dallas Cowboys they're not gonna be that team that make their money on the D line. That's not where they're gonna make their money. They're gonna make their money in the secondary. It's gonna be a tough time trying to get by Trayvon Diggs. It's gonna be a tough time trying to get by Stephon Gilmore. I mean, they literally pretty much had nobody last year. I can't name their number 2 cornerback. I forgot his name. I think it might have been Jordan Lewis. I'm not too sure if he's on the team anymore. But now they got a cornerback tandem that could be arguably put up against any cornerback duo in the NFL. So that's where they're going to make their money at. And I think the Dallas Cowboys, the one thing they do a good job at is generating turnovers. So I legit have no worries about them generating turnovers. I mean, 2021, number 1, 2022, number 2, and Dan Quinn's sticking around for another year. And so I don't think it's outrageous to say these guys could win the NFC, man. And for me, I think that might just be my bold take of the year. But we'll go ahead and get to that in maybe in a future episode.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lakes, now that's overkill.